SpudAdi, you Spud and I'm Addy. Just listen, you'll glisten, cause you'll be so happy. Our podcast is random talk on this and on that. But what did you expect from potatoes and fat? Yeah, what did you expect from potatoes and fat? Well, good evening, boys and girls, and welcome to SpudAdi. My name is not Addy, it's the internet alias that I use, and I'm here with Spudella.
Oh, that's very feminine. Thank you.
Well, I think, well, Clary is like Clary Pose, so it's only really fair that your other half, who I will not mention the name of in case you wanting to remain internet not anonymous, takes on some sort of potato name.
Well, she's in the kitchen right now, listening to this. She hates the word spud.
Really?
But by the time I discovered this, it was too late. She's even giving me a dirty look right now.
What's wrong with the word spud?
She just doesn't like, like some people don't like certain words. Like I don't like the word discharge. She doesn't like the word spud.
I've discovered that lots of people don't like the word moist. Could you get her on? Like, find it. I want to know what's wrong with the word spud. Like, she needs to come on. She needs to come on and justify this.
Mrs. Spud, come here. You said you wanted to be part of this.
You're always saying we don't do things together.
I said you couldn't do a nude video cam for that, but you can talk to her. Hang on.
What? Are we missing out?
Hello?
What's wrong with the word spud?
I don't know. It's just like a common word for potato.
It's not posh enough for you.
No, it's not.
Oh, so what do you think? Like Spud's internet name should be?
I don't know.
Like King Edward, or
Nothing to do with potatoes.
Oh, that must be awfully disappointing. Yeah, but the thing is, now the show's called SpudAdi. If we change the whole, it'll kill, all of the international fame we've got through the name. Although he used to be Drew Hardman. I mean, come on, Spud's got to be better than Drew Hardman.
Yeah. That's really, really sad.
Did you know that used to be his name?
I didn't know that used to be his name.
Call it. He's next to it. Call him it.
Drew Hardman. He's showing me his guns.
Is it absolutely? You've got loads of people saying hello, Mrs. Spud. By the way,
I've what?
You've got loads of people in the chat saying hello, Mrs. Spud.
Oh, hello! I didn't even know that this was on. That this was live. I thought I was just talking to you.
But,
hello, everyone.
Apparently, unfortunately, you're now Mrs. Spud. So, oh well, you're stuck with it.
I'm stuck with it. Okay, I'll let the other Spud back on them. Bye.
See ya. Awesome. You're far too common.
Pardon?
You're far too common, Spud.
Yes, I know. Exactly. Well, the original idea was couch potato.
That's true. But, I like Spud. I think Spud suits you. Especially it was your Skype pic as well, where you look thoroughly potato shaped.
I like that. I think it's funny.
Plus Drew Hardman Addy this is just a stupid name for a show.
Exactly. Drew Hardman Addy. The song would be really terrible. Drew Hardman Addy, Drew Hardman Addy.
It's sort of like it'd have to be like heavy metal, Hardman, that kind of
thing. Yeah. But yeah, and it's funny because she loves potatoes. Yeah. Like, it's probably her most favourite food ever, especially roast potatoes. I mean, we all like roast potatoes.
Yeah, roast a bit of goose fat, bit of gravy. We were having me and Spud were just before the show. We started having a little chat saying, "How's your name going?" And obviously, being the fascinating, wonderful individuals we are, we started getting fascinating even before the show started, and we almost had to stop ourselves and be like, whoa, save it for the show. Don't be too interesting right now. We were talking about the definition of a city. Mm-hmm. Now, did you know that the official definition of a city is nothing to do with how big it is? Because people often kind of think, if it's like a village, then it's small. If it's like a town, it's a bit bigger. And if it's a city, then it's a really, really big town. And that would make sense. But no. It's actually a religious thing. The definition of a city, as far as I'm aware, and do correct me if I'm wrong, is that it has a university and a cathedral. And that's it. That's it. It's the things it has in it rather than its size. So you can actually have a really, really small place. If it had a university and cathedral, it's a city. And you could actually have something that was really, really big without those two things, and it would officially be a town. Isn't that interesting?
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, didn't you beat me in a quiz by answering that very question? I remember you saying that before and me being annoyed about it. And the only way I would be annoyed about something that you teach me about is if I lose at something, because I hate losing. So that would make sense. But I swear it was a quiz. It might have been a tabletop game or something.
Ooh.
Something. But I'm pretty sure I heard that from you.
In your old house, and you clapped your hands together and made like an amusing noise, and I nearly died laughing. Like,
yes.
And to the point that everyone was just looking at me going, "What the hell are you doing?"
Oh, it's the rubby hand farting noise, I think. Yeah, you
tried to present it as your special skill on a talent show.
Yes, you found that way too funny.
I really did, but I couldn't stop.
Mrs. Spud can do that really, really, really good. It's like a suction cup with her. Mine's more rubbing the hands together.
You're got to make the noise down the microphone now. We need to hear this. That's not the noise. That's not your hands.
Oh, mine. Oh, hang on. I thought you meant the suction cup. Can you hear that?
Yeah. It sounds like being attacked by a very small fly.
I'm waiting for an important business meeting where it gets really tense, and I can try and just get the atmosphere back, to friendly by doing that randomly in front of everyone.
Yeah. I think it's important to have little noises that you can do in inopportune times.
Got two leaders of two departments going, well, I'm not going to lower the cost of this thing. Well, I'm not going to buy it then. And I'll just go in the middle and go with my hands, and everyone will be happy and do business.
The thing that's going wrong in my work at the moment, and this is not like a major problem, so hopefully this isn't anything I would get fired for disclosing, is that over the summer we've had an email system upgrade, and as most things, it's kind of like it works, they upgrade it, it doesn't work. But this actually isn't one of those. This is actually a genuine upgrade. The email system now works a little bit better. But unfortunately, where the reply button used to be is now reply all. Because it used to be, the button would say reply, and you click the drop-down arrow, and then you could pick reply all if you wanted. But now if you press the button, it says reply all, and you have to pick the drop-down arrow to get to just reply. Which, of course, means that loads of people are now replying to everybody instead of replying, let the hilarity continue.
Let the hilarity and slagging off to the people they don't mean to slag off.
Well, we haven't had any horrific ones yet, but we have. There was a lovely lady at work who hope doesn't watch the show because I'm about to embarrass her a little bit. We got emailed about the staff Christmas do and saying, you need to pay for your staff Christmas do, and we did, and we always have a lovely time. It's really well organised. It's a fantastic evening out, and she replied, but unfortunately to everyone, and this was literally the whole school as well. Like it was all staff email, so the head teacher, the deputy head teacher, the caretaker, the IT crew, the learning support assistants, the canteen staff, literally everybody in the entire school. She replied to, it was basically a reminder saying, please pay for your staff Christmas do. To which she replied, I know. I'm just really busy. I can't keep my head above the water. And everyone got it. So when I saw it later in the day, I was like, how's your head? And she was like, it's fine. What do you mean? She was like, you're keeping it above the water. She was like, yeah, I said that in an email earlier. And I was like, I know. So does everyone else. Her eyes got wider, and then her hands kind of went clapped across her face. And she went, no! It was awesome. It was awesome.
It's, my work just uses Gmail for the whole company.
Really? Wow. Yep. That's safe.
And I don't want to go into it, but it's quite a big UK-based entertainment. I loosely use the word company. So
you can't say it's an entertainment company. It sounds like you work for like Vivid Porn Movies or something.
The entertainment.
Hang on a minute.
No, you do have to be
industry.
It's worse when I add the adult entertainment industry, because technically you have to be over 18 to use this form of entertainment. So, yep, I work for a glorified porn film. Yes. No. Yeah, just Gmail.
That's why his name's Spud. It's not actually. It's a. Anyway, I'm not going to go there.
Where others would.
Here's a topic of conversation. Obviously, our birthdays were recently. My birthday was last week, and your birthday was a month before, which means you're always a little bit older than me.
Yes.
But we're now getting to that point where we can safely say that our bodies have reached that tipping point of no longer growing and moving towards perfection, but have now gone past whenever and wherever perfection was, and is now starting to kind of tip down the other side. So just for amusement value.
You put that so nicely. That's the nicest way I've ever heard of. So you're just sliding down the hill towards death now. Yep, that's me. Yeah, cool.
I didn't mention death. I'm just tipping. We're just on the slightly wrong side of perfection. But in what ways have you noticed yourself getting decrepit?
Well, today, for example, this is one of many. I had 5 chocolate truffles, and the old me could have done the whole packet with no problem. My body would have went, sugar, get out of here. I can deal with this. But no, now I felt sick the whole day because of it. I was sitting at my desk. Still now I'm sitting here, but at my desk earlier, I was sitting there just going, oh my God, am I going to be sick? Exercise is now a thing of torture the next day. Remember when I had my ill-fated garden business?
Yes.
I used to go gardening for the whole day and then play basketball for like 3 hours and then cycle home and then get up the next day and feels just fine. And that was like mid-20s, like 23 or whatever. And now, just today after yesterday, me and you went squash, I was just just bending over. It's just, you don't even realise you're doing it. It's just the completely... Oh, I just made that weird noise, didn't I? No, I didn't even mean to. Let me try and bend down and pick up this thing without making that noise. No, you can't do it. You cannot bend over without making the noise.
The squash got me today as well, because me and Spud played squash last night, and we drew, for those of you who are keeping tabs. And we really pushed each other last night, and I was kind of wondering how I would be today. And I woke up, and my legs are absolutely fine. My arms are absolutely fine. In fact, even a little bit more flexible from the amount of exercise I did. But where it's got me is somewhere in this kind of back area in just below my neck, just where it kind of my back kind of becomes my neck. And so, it's the whole Kurt Angle effect of like, I don't turn with my neck, I turn with my shoulders, so someone kind of says my name and they say, hey, Adi, how you doing? And I'm like, hello, how are you? I'm fine. I'm just going to fetch these things from over here. And you end up looking like a robot because turning the neck just doesn't move entirely, doesn't come completely naturally today.
I've got it just above the buttocks, that lower
just above
lower back. So just any movement, just getting up from chairs, bending over to pick something up, even just anything. I think I was at the canteen in my work earlier, and I dropped a 5p piece on the floor, and there was a queue behind me.
Just let it go. You earn enough. You earn enough.
No, I didn't. I went for it, and I made the noise, and I held on to the side. And oh, Jesus! And everyone just looked at me. So, but yeah, that's mainly just moving around and tolerance of people. I'm probably even less tolerant of people than I was when I was young. Yeah,
my memory still seems to be fine. I mean, I've always forgotten various things, but that's just because I don't listen. But I think my eyes are going ever so slightly. Well, and I've said this when I've done computer games and stuff before. Like I do like the gaming glasses now, but the problem is you can't have a comparison. It's not like you can instantly kind of go, right, so this is what my eyes are now. Let me just put on my 12-year-old glasses just so I can go, oh look, visibility. There's no real way to know. It's all a little bit of kind of like guesswork and things.
For me, it's definitely physical. It's not I think my mind's fine. Just in the mid 30s, I can't see any difference with that.
Well, you're supposed to become
physically.
Statistics and sociology would suggest that everyone gets a little bit more conservative as they get older. So when you're young, you're idealistic and you kind of go, oh my God, I'm going to vote to change the world. I'm going to vote for equality. I'm going to vote for trees. I'm going to vote for nature. Change the world, everyone. And then you get to the other side of, say 35 or whatever, then you kind of go, actually, you know what? My money really is mine. And I don't like all of these new people that are coming along. And I'm not sure I really want to use my money to help other people. So I'm going to vote Tory.
Yes. I don't think I've gone that bad, but I can see the point. I think it's very much...
Maybe in like 10, 15 years' time, I'll be kind of like, what I really want? A nice rifle and sign up to the NRA. And then, my transformation to Republican will be complete.
and just sit on your porch rocking back and forth.
Oh, with a little guitar. Oh, man, I've even got the guitar. You know what? I came on last night. They love these lovely people in the posse here. They got me a card, like in one of the e-card things. And so I came on last night to say thank you. And what actually happened was I just picked up the guitar and whittled for about half an hour. I am that old bloke that sits on the bench, that sits outside in country and western films.
Yeah. You need a banjo to properly do it, and then you could do dueling banjos.
Yeah, and then a friend, and we can just go.
That scene in that film made me laugh so much. It's the bit after they do the dueling banjos, and he goes, "You shall play a mean banjo," and he just turns his head away from him as he extends his hand to shake his hand. That bit made me laugh so many times, despite all the other horrible things that happened in that film. That bit was so funny. You just reminded me of it. It's so rude. Yeah, so you should get a banjo.
Thank you. I might get that for Christmas. I have a spare 150 quid and a little slot over here to put a stringed instrument. I dared to insult the ukulele earlier, and Clara scolded me. We were walking underneath a bridge, and there was a guy playing the ukulele, like busking. And I suggested, foolishly, I know, maybe I should just learn never to speak. I said, I'm not sure like playing a ukulele is really worth like, busking money, is it? It's not like a virtuoso violinist here, who's been, learning it for years and years and years, or like, a singer that's, learned and crafted their voice into this like wonderful thing. It's a kind of a, it's a ukulele. There's like 3 chords and there's 4 strings, type of thing. But whoa, I was wrong.
I didn't know there was a standard to be able to busk. Some people just stick on like a tape deck, don't they? And they just play like a random beat, and then they just start screaming over it. Especially where I live, I've heard that one before.
Really?
Yeah, there's some really dodgy buskers up in the.
They just scream over a drum beat. That doesn't sound. Do they make lots of money?
They look like they're going to go straight to the local meth house and spend the money there. So maybe it's that kind of thing.
You are getting a bit more judgmental as you get older.
Yeah, I am. I don't know what you're talking about.
That was quite vicious. That was quite unnecessarily harsh to these poor little guitarists. You look like a crack whore.
But hang on, if I was to say to you, right, draw a little picture of a crack fiend, and there's a good chance you're going to draw the people I'm talking about that I've seen. I can only say what I've seen.
Yeah.
It's like catchphrase of life. Say what you see.
So what,
right, should we
what crack fiend is a no? Oh right, so what you see is a okay.
Say what you see.
That's
catchphrase.
Yeah, catchphrase. Yeah. Oh, good guess, but wrong.
Mr. Chips. I do love a bit of catchphrase.
I
wonder if they have catchphrase in other countries. They surely have.
Well, they could export Roy Walker, who's not doing anything else.
Isn't he? He's dead, isn't he?
No.
Is it the joke?
He can't be dead.
He is. Is he? Shall I Google it?
No, I don't want to know.
Oh,
my local pizza place is closed. Nice Mr. Pizza Man that's like 3'1".
That's because we stopped going there. Oh,
yeah,
no.
it's because freaking Domino's opened next to it, and then we stopped going because we moved down the road, and now It's a Pizza Gonna Help You is shut. And I phoned him like 3 times recently. He hasn't picked up, and I said a bad word about him, and then I drove past the shop, and he's not there anymore.
Oh no!
He used to give us 2 pizzas and free garlic bread for about £9.
He did always give us free garlic bread.
Always free garlic, whether we asked for it or not. And sometimes it wasn't very nice garlic bread, but that doesn't matter. It was free. It's important.
Well, I've got good news. Roy Walker is alive.
Oh, thank God. Well, they can bring catchphrase back. Oh, they replace him with some like brunette schmuck.
Yeah, they got him on. They got the magician. I can't remember his name.
Bobby Darrow?
Mrs. Spud might know. Mrs. Spud. What? Stephen Mulhern.
What, the kids TV presenter?
Yeah, that's the guy. He's now doing catchphrase.
But he's a knob.
And I'm the judgmental one.
But I suppose they start somewhere. Like I used to, Bob Monkhouse.
Yes,
he's a legend. Obviously he is actually dead. But I used to love Bob Monkhouse. Like when I was younger, though, I used to think he was a complete tool and not funny and appalling, and like his jokes were never amusing. And I just thought he was this arrogant thing. And then one night I caught him doing like a stand-up show or something like that for some reason. I thought I watched it and I thought it was hilarious. And ever since from that point onwards, whenever I saw him on, I'd be like, oh my God, look, it's Bob Monkhouse presenting a show. And I used to love him. But I think some people become like more tolerable as they get older.
Yeah.
Like, you know how some, like, maybe they mellow a little bit or you kind of get used to them. But you know how some people, when they're younger, you just kind of go, oh my God, you're a complete tool. And then as they get older, they kind of mature into someone that you kind of go, oh, not bad, actually. A bit like Ben Affleck.
I've never disliked Ben Affleck.
Really?
I mean, there's Pearl Harbor.
His whole face is irritating.
No, I don't feel that. And there's a lot of hate towards him between Pearl Harbor and Daredevil. But apart from those, he didn't do that much bad.
I really liked him in Changing Lanes, and I really liked him in Dogma. But there's something about him that kind of exudes arrogance.
Yeah, I get that. I can understand that. But he doesn't annoy me as some people just like the way I feel about Russell Brand. I can't stand him.
But I bet though, in like say 20 years, I bet like in 20 years he'll mellow a bit, and you'll be like, "Quite like Russell Brand."
I still would have to probably do a side note if I'm talking about him. I quite like Russell Brand. I remember when he used to be a complete knobhead, though. I definitely would have to mention that. I definitely would have
qualification of yeah. Point scoring.
I used to feel that way about Bruce Forsyth, and now I think he's just the best thing ever. Especially since now he's getting a little bit,
A little bit. He was a little bit 10 years ago. He's a lot of it now.
That's what makes me laugh. Yeah, I do understand. But Ben Affleck, I mean, I think Ben Affleck's going to be a good Batman.
I don't know. I'm not sure that movie will rise or fall on Ben Affleck. I think it will rise or fall on this whole like Batman versus Superman gimmick. And that's the problem.
Apparently,
it's a gimmick. That's the thing. Alien versus Predator. Movie crossovers, with the possible exception of Avengers and maybe a couple of others, don't work.
Right. Well, I've got some points to make on that. First off,
it's not a list, is it?
No, it's not a list. Well, it's a pair of items. The storyline apparently of Batman vs Superman is based on the very popular Dark Knight Returns comic, which is an alternative universe where Batman retired after Robin got killed, and he's now old and he comes back, and Superman's like owned by the government, and they have a fight.
Right.
So if they keep to the material, it should be good. And the studio, Warner Brothers, are so confident on Affleck. Oh, Batfleck. I don't know what the pun is. But anyway,
I believe is the
Batfleck. Thank you. That they asked because they're cutting it now. Everything's shot, I think, and finished. But they've asked for less Superman and more Batman.
Well, but they had a whole movie about Superman and it didn't work very well. So it's unsurprising they've gone back to.
Yeah, that didn't age well. Have you watched it?
What, Man of Steel?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it didn't necessarily age well. I was bored the first time I watched it.
I watched
it buildings over and over and over again.
Yes,
until I was like,
I didn't get that until the second time around. I watched it the first time, went brilliant, Superman in a proper action, and he's invulnerable and it's really, really cool. And I watched it again and I kind of sort of went, yeah, actually, what is the point? Everyone's just throwing each other through buildings and can't hurt each other.
Yeah,
apart from the very end.
So they're spending millions of pounds on just my life throwing it. It's like watching a brick get attacked with a load of feathers. It's just not. It's just pointless.
And that's the curse of Superman through all his stories, is the fact that he is practically invulnerable. And how do you create drama from it?
Yeah, it's like we're talking about recently on the Doctor Who things. Is that you know that Doctor Who is not going to die because the show's called Doctor Who. He is going to continue, and therefore there's always a slight challenge on how to script things to make things dramatic. But I think that problem is amplified even worse in Superman because he doesn't have a sidekick. Main characters like Lois Lane, again, aren't really going to go anywhere unless they decide to do something very, very kind of bold. Plus, him as a character.
Plus, he could just go around the world and turn back time if she gets killed, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. They did that once before. And the other problem with Superman, and it's a bit similar to kind of Captain America, he's very kind of goody-goody two-shoes. Like, there isn't that kind of interesting edge to him that lots of the other characters have. And they tried to kind of bring it in Man of Steel. Like, there was the whole ending with Zod that I won't go into if people haven't seen that movie, but it feels forced with Superman. I feel like it's like, well, they tried to give him an edge rather than that was kind of natural. The only Superman movies that obviously I think it worked, were the originals, because there was something about the way they were written, maybe the era in which they were made, where everyone was a little bit, it was more socially acceptable to be the all-American hero, and something about Christopher Reeve was charismatic, kind, and heroic, and that's a very difficult balance for an actor to get, to get, because I think Henry Cavill, if that's the current guy, he doesn't have the charisma of the, he's not fun. He's not. You don't like him. He's heroic, but he's not a sympathetic, interesting figure that you'd like to meet. Whereas Christopher Reeve's version of Superman, you want to go up to him and go, you're a funny dude, and you're heroic.
Yeah, because he, used to save the day, give a little wink and a little cheesy smile. I mean, he's a good-looking man as well.
Normally while flying around the world, obviously,
and then fly off. With this guy, it's all gritty. Which at the time I was saying, yes, it's needed to take Superman seriously and how powerful he is. But I kind of get your point as well. It's a very difficult character to think. Well, that's why I loved, the game, the latest. It was like it was a DC characters made by the Mortal Kombat developers. Gods Among Us or something. It's something like that. Anyway,
another one. Infamous. Ingress.
It's got to drive me mad.
Immortals? Gods Among Us? I think it began with the I. But I know the one you mean. Yeah, it's a beat 'em up with all the characters.
That story was very, very, very good. And it's not spoilers.
Sorry, is that the story in the game, or there's a story that...
The story in the game is... Again, it's not spoilers because it's all very the first part before you actually get into it, really, is that the Joker and... Yeah, I think it's the Joker, actually. He gets bored of messing around with Batman because Batman always stops him. So he gasses Superman with like kryptonite gas or something and makes him believe that Lois Lane is Doomsday. So he kills Lois Lane by just, something that wouldn't kill Doomsday because Doomsday's on his kind of power level. But she's pregnant with his child as well, which is a miracle in itself because apparently he's like practically infertile because of the powers or something. So he more or less has a nervous breakdown and takes over the planet.
Do you think Superman spunk is like super spunk? Like it can like fly.
Yeah, I always thought because if he sneezes, it blows off steel doors off its hinges. That would just shoot her across the room, surely. But you'd get this poor woman just launched into the wall unless they're outside.
Into the wall outside,
But he's really quick to catch
flying up to the car roof.
Yeah, flying through the car roof. Woman dies in outer space. This is what happened. But yeah, that story, because it's like, I mean, the first thing he does after that is kill the Joker. It's dark and then everyone's against Superman, so that's cool. And you don't see any women flying off in
due to being
atmosphere. So, Hearthstone.
Hearthstone. It's still Hearthstone.
Damn it! I keep getting it wrong.
Well, I think it's Hearthstone. You're not alone in saying Hearthstone, but every time you say it, I want to slap you in the face and go,
yes,
no! You find it by a hearth. It's a Hearthstone.
I know I'm not alone, but I am wrong. I looked it up because I was convinced.
What? You were wrong?
I know.
Say that to Mrs. Spud. She'll never believe you.
I heard a thud. I think she fainted in the So news has come out today. Now, this is a personal hate of mine. Anyone who plays this game has come across this, and I'm so glad this is happening. Other people have obviously used this tactic, which I'm just about to explain. They're probably going to be pissed off, but I'm happy. So, the makers in an upcoming patch are going to nerf the Warsong Commander because it's part of the Patron Warrior deck. That is all based around 3 cards, 4 really. I can't remember one of the cards' name, but we've got Frothing Berserker that gains 1 attack for every damage. Anyone on this team gets damaged, it gains 1 attack. Grim Patron, which if you don't kill it, another one comes out.
It multiplies and attacks you all over the place, yes.
Yeah, it gives everyone charge. So you play 1 card that deals damage to everyone powers up, and you get smashed. And it's like, what's the point? Just press options, you press concede, and you debate throwing your tablet or your computer across the room.
And go, oh my God, how much have I spent on this game? Da-da-da.
But now, Warsong Commander, all it does is it gives all other characters 1+ attack or something. Your minions that already have charge get 1 attack.
That's quite a big change.
That is a big, that ruins the whole thing, because nothing has charge, and you can manage it if you're going against it. You can either get rid of Grim Patron and Frothing Berserker. And I think Grim Patron is just the worst card in the world. I've had to add it to one of my decks, and I hate when it comes up because it's so cheap. But how do you feel? Have you got a deck with this in? Do you use this deck?
I did have a little play with Grim Patron Warrior, but I haven't played Hearthstone in a while. But I'm not really finishing any sentences. Let me attempt.
This is good.
Attempt to finish. I think Hearthstone should be a game of battling between what's on the board. You know, I play a creature, you play a creature. You know, those creatures battle. You know, we support them, we use spells, and but a back and forth battle between creatures, and then occasionally, you get some sort of little combo that swings it your way, or some sort of interaction between the cards, and you go, "Ooh, that was good." The problem with things like Grim Patron Warrior and, going back probably a year or so to Miracle Rogue, is you can have a situation where the other person, you're playing against someone and they're not playing something, and they're not playing and they're not playing, or maybe just dealing with, the odd little thing you put down. And then all of a sudden they take one turn and they just kind of play their whole deck, do some sort of combo, do horrific amount of damage to you in one turn, if not lethal. And you're screwed, you're buggered. And I think that any time you've got a deck where the strategy is not necessarily to interact with your opponent, but just to play a huge amount of your cards on a single turn, spoils Hearthstone.
Yes. And those, explain, what was Miracle Rogue?
Miracle Rogue was nerfed. There was a card, there is a card called Gadgetzan Auctioneer. And it was a minion, and you played it. And the power was that every time you then played a spell, you drew a card. So you'd get to about, and Rogue's got loads of little ways of removing little minions. So you'd play your first minion, and then they'd play a card to remove it. You'd play another minion, they'd play another card to remove it, which is fine. That's what Rogue does. And then they'd play the Gadgetzan, and then they would just play a crap load of spells, basically just trying to get through their whole deck. And they could basically kind of do it in 2 or 3 turns, because Rogue's got loads and loads of spells, and some of them cost 0, some of them cost 1, some of them cost 2. Rogue's got tons of cheap spells. So they would just play spell after spell after spell, just basically go through their whole deck, which would mean they would collect this big collection of like uber cards in their hand. You know how in Hearthstone, basically, when you get the perfect draw, you can win every game, but you never get the perfect draw. What Miracle Rogue did is, because it would use all these cheap spells in the Gadgetzan to go through their whole deck, they could almost guarantee that perfect draw each time. They'd sit there with this massive combo in their hands, and then like a turn later, they would just go blap and destroy you with a mixture of Leroy Jenkins and Edwin Van Cleef and things like that. And again, that was one of those ones where basically you'd be playing against this Miracle Rogue. They'd remove a couple of minions, and you knew at some point there was just going to be this turn where you'd just be sitting there waiting while they just played they would do things like play backstab when there was no minion to be attacked. They were literally just kind of playing the card to get through it, to play through their spells. So you just sit and watch it. But it was the same problem, that you weren't interacting. You were just watching them play solitaire.
Yeah, and I think I never thought of it like that. But the players I've hated is when they're not doing anything. And I'm playing my my really cheap taunt at the beginning. Right, okay, I set up some defense while the next go. Yeah, okay, I'm thinking about everything, and they're just going end turn. And it's like, okay, and now I've put out that one. Okay, so if he plays anything, then I can do that. Yep, that's good. And then they just go end turn.
End turn.
So, right, okay, and then, okay, fine, fair enough. I'll play this one, and now they have to attack. And by now I've only got I can only attack him with 2 1s and a 3. So okay, well, but I'm ready for anything though. And then they go. Oh, Jesus. I hate that. I do agree with you. And even the experts, the professionals, they got complaints with pro players saying, I can't get around this, and my job is to think of a way around this, so sort it out. I think I remember reading an article somewhere that the game's designers have said, we will nerf cards that take the game away from this kind of interactive battle on the board. Which is good. It's a by and large, Hearthstone is a well supported game where you get value for money just about, and they give you new expansions. There's a lot of people playing it. They give incentives to play, yada yada yada. I think it's a well done game, and they do
nerf they do fix things as well. They do nerf things, whereas there are other games, especially ones that have yearly iterations, where they're just going to go, well, that was broken. Don't worry, we'll fix it next year. Buy the next one.
Well, which is what recently has happened to changing the subject, but a good little segue. Destiny. They've re-released their game with an expansion that is, instead of saying this is Destiny 2, they've just done an expansion, fixed all the problems, so all the drops are easier to get, and it brings back more fun to the game. And went, here you go, can I have another £40, please?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they relaunched it on disc as well. So it's not just an expansion. It's the Taken King expansion is on disc based with all the other expansions. And from everything I've been reading, and I didn't mind Destiny, I played it to the end of the story, which is practically non-existent, but it was very fun gameplay.
Yeah.
Halo-y, which is to be expected because Bungie's the people that made it. And it was fun. I did lots of co-op with my older son. We had a good time, and that was it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not grinding to get the last 3 legendary weapons. You know, I did a couple of, big, hard missions, got through them, and it dropped nothing. And it was like, I can't bother that. It's taking the fun out of it. But apparently they've sorted everything out. It's brilliant. But they're charging £40 for the mistakes they made in the first place. Loads of people are saying, it's brilliant. It's like, this is where it should have been. But you've paid for it twice now.
You've already bought the game when it was...
I've already bought the game. So why... I'm going to give it a
fun. It's a multiplayer game, isn't it? Like MMO, isn't it, or style?
Yeah, it's like an MMO light.
So is everyone that's got the game already? So is the new game on completely new servers, or is there interactivity between the two?
Oh no. You can download the expansion of the Taken King, and that is all the bits, including what we discussed about in a previous episode of Peter Dinklage getting his voice taken out and Nolan North doing all the dialogue, taking all of it. All those changes are in the Taken King, which you can just have as DLC. But they've also re-released, because a lot of people have blatantly got rid of the game. Like me, I do sell my games to fund me buying brand new games. So now if I want it, I have to go and buy a brand new one. Or the old version and pay for the money for the DLC, which is fair enough, but I wouldn't have sold it. If the game...
That doesn't sound... you've sold this as being like the devil incarnate, but if you're actually just saying it's a bit of DLC and you've already sold the disc.
Yes, but they've re-released the game with the fixes when the first game was a little bit broken and not what they hyped it up to be. It's now finally hit its potential of what they said it was going to be from launch. And it's got more story in it because it was non-existent story as well. It was a terrible story. And the voice acting was terrible. And now it's got good voice acting. It was literally like, we're going to release this game. It's really bad, but next year we're going to fix it. It's really good. So I don't know how I feel about it.
What's the game that you think you've spent the most on that you've been the most disappointed with? It's quite a big question, and I haven't even thought about that question. So
I've actually got on my things to talk about list, which is kind of close to what you're saying. Hype games I didn't really get into. That I've actually spent the most on that I thought was bad.
Well, Titanfall was... I didn't spend that much. I bought Titanfall, but that was a game I was... like similar to you, I was expecting that to be the next big thing that would basically take over from Call of Duty, and we'd all be playing Titanfall and talking about Titanfall and discussing strategies on Titanfall. And actually, it was a mild distraction for about a week and a half, and then I stopped playing it.
Exactly.
The gameplay wasn't bad; it just wasn't addicting.
And that's what I think I messaged you the other day, or I mentioned it at Squash. Anyway, I think that new Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront, I think that's going to be another Titanfall. Because I played
I
know, because I loved Titanfall for the first couple of weeks. I was like, this is brilliant. And we meeting up online and playing, and both of us went off the boil on it, really, but more or less the same time. It was like it had a set period to keep our attention, and that was it. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with it.
I felt that I wasn't getting better and seeing the rewards for the time I was putting in. Because I remember when I wanted to play Battlefield 3, it wasn't 4, it was Battlefield 3. And I remember that feeling of getting my arse completely kicked, and then that feeling of getting a little bit better, and that feeling of getting a little bit better, and learning the maps and finding little places to be strategic in the map, and then getting a new unlock for a weapon. And I remember that big feeling of progression, just little by little by little. And I remember the first few times I dominated a match. And yes, for those of you who've seen me play Battlefield 3 recently, I used to be a lot more bad. I have maps when I utterly dominated it, and I remember that feeling. And that is a great feeling, and that you want that feeling more. But with Titanfall, I think it because it was almost like so chaotic. There was never that feeling of, oh, I've made a little bit of progress here, because it was always a case of like, oh, I think I've mastered this, and then I just blown. I don't know. I'm clutching at straws. Have you got any theories?
If I kind of feel that way about Call of Duty. I mean, I never play flat out normal Call of Duty now when I get a new Call of Duty, which, I mean, I hardly touched the last one or the one before that. But the one, I think Black Ops 2 is the one I really got into. And it was just, I thought I was getting better. But for example, Capture the Flag, the second round, everyone would save up their death streaks or their kill streaks, whatever, and just the map would be bombarded with missile strikes and helicopter drones. And it's like, oh, I can't move out of this little hut. What's going on? It doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to get hit with a bomb, and that's the end of it. So I think that might be a problem with that style of game. But I don't know.
A little bit boomy.
Yeah, and maybe it was a lack of single player story. Would that be? I mean, did you play any single player of Battlefield 3?
I did, but it wasn't that kept me going. The thing we've said this before. With single player adventures, you can absolutely love them, but when you finish the single player adventure, normally that's it, regardless of how good it is. Like, you don't go back and play Uncharted again, often.
No. But I don't know. What I've spent the most of, probably actually GTA 5. I bought that twice.
Oh, really?
I bought it on Xbox 360, and then the re-release, the Super HD upgrade to PS4 came out, and I was like, ooh, and I got caught up on the hype, and I saw it on sale and I bought it. It wasn't a big sale either; it was only like £15 off. Opposed to,
so you're saying you were disappointed?
Yeah, 50. Yeah, and it's what I don't like about the game in GTA 4. I hated driving on boring missions.
Right.
And I thought, okay, cool. So they've kind of sorted that out, because there's not that many boring missions. It's like, right, drive here and have a big shootout to get this truck and then drive. But it's the driving to the missions drives me insane. I'm sitting out loud moaning, go, why am I driving across the giant map to do this mission? It's just so boring. For me, maybe it's because back in the day when I couldn't drive, when I was younger, I loved GTA, San Andreas and stuff like that. But now I'm
just driving.
I'm in a car every single day going to work and coming back again. And I don't want to get home and then drive to... I don't care if I'm driving to steal an aeroplane. It doesn't make a difference. I don't want to keep driving all the time. And because it is a very realistic-y kind of city, as realistic as you can get in GTA... I think it's the driving. It's definitely the driving, and I can't get around it. Even in multiplayer, it's you get in your little gangs, and then it's like, right, get in a car together and drive all the way across the map for 5 minutes to go to shoot. It's like, no,
it's a road trip, a convoy. That's fine.
It's not part of the mission. It's just getting to the mission. If it was right, so the mission is drive across.
I buy you Euro Trucker 2 for Christmas.
I don't know. Maybe not. Again, if it was the mission, Euro Trucker 2, if the mission is drive there and deliver your stuff, then that's the mission. I can concentrate there.
The mission on Euro Trucker is get there without crashing. I'm not very good at it.
Which is cool. But do you have to get in the car to drive to the truck depot to pick your truck up? That's the bit that annoyed me.
Yeah. But the whole of Euro Trucker is like, you're not expecting anything more from Euro Trucker. Euro Trucker is a game where you get in your truck and drive from place to place. You're not expecting things to start blowing up with machine guns.
Well, at least you know what you're getting. With GTA 5, I just hate just getting in the car and this mission said I have to assassinate this guy. Right, that sounds really exciting. I'm an assassin. I'm going to get up the building. Okay, where's the mission? All right, it's right at the other side of the map. It's going to take me in real time 8 minutes to get there. Oh, no. You get in a cab and do it, and it's like, oh no. So GTA 5. GTA 5.
What have I been the most disappointed with? I don't tend to spend that much games on these games these days, because I tend to wait for the Steam sale. So if I am that disappointed, it's probably like, oh well, it was only a $5 or a $10. I wasn't hot on the new Borderlands, the pre-sequel.
Yeah, I noticed that, because you loved 2 so much.
Yeah, 2 was incredible. I played through 2 twice, maybe even twice and a half. But the pre-sequel never grabbed me. It felt like it never really went anywhere, and the gameplay gets the gameplay kind of got repetitive. I never really felt that there was kind of a threat. Maybe I should play it solo
to get through it. And there's obviously the legendary story about Fallout 3. I think that despite my error in not giving it a chance, I think the beginning for someone who isn't used to a Western RPG like that would be put off. And if they didn't have a little Addy with them to say, no, you play it, sit down, you play it now, to actually realise how good it is. Yeah. But I mean, I think, was that my first taste of proper Western RPG? It might have been.
Well, Fallout 3 was one of the first really big Western RPGs.
Yeah, because you had Oblivion that came out before that, but I didn't play that.
Oblivion was a lot more niche. Like, Oblivion's actually become more popular kind of almost after the fact when people have kind of gone back to it because they played Fallout and Skyrim and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, before that, it was all... I mean, it was just RPGs, which were Japanese RPGs or JRPGs. They weren't even called that.
There was things like Ultima and stuff, but they were more kind of going towards the kind of Dungeons and Dragons. Like they were niche games rather than like things that the mainstream gamers would have played.
Well, before that, I was used to your Zeldas and your Secret of Manas and stuff like that. And when I was in a vault and there was this guy talking to me and I was a baby, I was a bit confused what was happening. And then I got out and I kept being killed by giant scorpions. Why is this happening?
Wrong way out of the vault. Have you seen Doctor Who yet?
No.
Oh, what is it with everyone not seeing something that was televised on Saturday? It's Tuesday.
I now have a backlog, which is another thing, actually. We could mention quickly. It's all the cool TVs coming back. So not only am I properly, I might go to Witcher 3.
He told me at Squash yesterday. All he's doing is playing The Witcher. If he tries to sell it,
exactly.
TV, he's lying. He's just been playing games.
No. This is the problem. I was just about to say I need to go to Witcher 3 Anonymous because I'm addicted to that. Flash comes back tonight, and I love a bit of cheesy Flash. Flash is awesome. I do like that. Arrow's coming back, I think, tomorrow in the UK. This is all UK stuff. So if anyone's listening in America, I know you got it last week or whatever. Walking Dead was on last night, which I've recorded, and I still got to watch the last episode of Doctor Who.
You have to watch Doctor Who because I want to talk to you about it. We'll have to do it next week now, but I'm not going to spoil you, but I will just, at the beginning, there's something in the episode which tries to explain a logical problem with the episode. And I'm aware that from talking to you on SpudAdi and in real life, you often get, you often kind of say things like, that was a really good episode, but there's this logical problem that drives me nuts. It just needs a bit of dialogue to explain this. That's kind of a big thing, was that you like things to be explained without it being a logical problem. And in this episode, they do. They actually try and explain it. So I want to know if you, after you've seen it, whether you actually kind of go, thank goodness they explained that. That's so much better. They should do that every time. Or whether you actually kind of go, I didn't like it. It should have been a mystery. But you haven't seen it. This is about as far as this conversation can go.
Yeah. Because now I'm going to ask you questions. Is it about time traveling?
Yes.
Okay. Well, don't tell me if I'm right or wrong. But one of the biggest nitpicks, and if anyone, I know there's a lot of your posse on the Twitch live stream, which you're doing right now.
Most of the posse seem to be random stragglers that come in.
Okay. Well, hello, random stragglers. one of the biggest Doctor Who problems I've had in the crossover from Moffat from Davis is the fact that when we had Eccleston and Tennant, there was such a
hello, such a strip.
I sat on the mute button. Sorry. There's such.
Have you done that again? Have you sat on your mute button twice? Hello.
No, I'm here.
Oh, good. Right.
Yeah, good. Sorry, my ass getting me in trouble again. There was such a strict rule of you can't time travel when you're part of the events going on and stuff. These giant big time dinosaurs came and swooped down and cleansed the wound of time and all that stuff. And then when it got to Matt Smith, which again, I'm not knocking Matt Smith. I think he was a brilliant doctor, but it was all forgotten about. And he was time traveling and going back and going forward and going back. The Christmas Carol one was like the 10th Doctor would be rolling around in his grave. So if they explain that, then great, because that is still, no one has explained that. Say what you like about Moffat, and I'm getting a little bit fed up with Moffat, which is, I know, string me up from the wall for saying stuff, but
I think Moffat
he does explain stuff normally at the end.
I think the early Matt Smith series were dull, and with Capaldi, I think he's really found a run, a niche. I'm not sure what the word is.
Mm.
Shouldn't talk about too much because I don't think you're the only person that hasn't seen Saturday's Doctor Who yet. It seems to be contagious.
Okay, well, I'm definitely going to, by next week, I would have been caught up.
Next week. Wow. So by the time the next episode of Doctor Who is on, you might have watched last week's. You're the man.
Thank you. Oh, compliments for nothing. I love it. Say again. I'm the man.
You're the man.
Yeah, I'm the man.
So today, what we discussed, we had Mrs. Spud on to talk about the fact that she doesn't like Spuds.
The internet debut of Mrs. Spud.
Indeed, she didn't know she was on the internet. You might pay for that later.
Yes, I don't know. She seemed happy about it. Fine.
Lots of people said she was very cute. By the way, you might need to check her Twitter later.
Okay, I will. What else did we speak about? Disappointing games.
We talked about cities and cathedrals.
Superman. Yeah, cathedrals. We've educated the masses.
We did.
Superman.
I'm missing the big section of the show. What have we talked about for now? Has an hour actually gone past? Oh my god.
Yeah, well, 50 odd minutes. Yeah, Superman's too powerful.
When I'm around, people come to me and they say hello, and I'm so entertaining that the time just flies.
It does indeed. Where are we up to into time? I forgot how to speak.
You did. You did. Yeah, that was a little bit like question Harold from Neighbours there.
Have we got time for a quick question?
We've got about 5 minutes.
Okay, so I will give you the final question quickly while I'm saying these sentences as slowly as
I'm going to be quiet so you can just stretch this out as much as you can.
No, do not do that. Okay, right, we've got... What fictional universe would you like to live in from Jenny Beagle, Tiny Dancer?
Well, a lot of fictional universes are quite dangerous.
Yes.
Although there might be kind of cool people around.
And exciting.
Yeah, dangerous. Things like you wouldn't want to live in Gotham City, would you?
No. And you wouldn't. I think the Marvel universe literally just exploded and they've rebooted it. So that's pretty bad. I'd probably have to go with the Marvel universe because there's a good chance somehow if an ant bites me, I'm going to get superpowers and I can finally become a superhero.
Ant-Man.
That's been done. Damn it.
You have to get bitten by like a...
Mothman.
Flea.
Get bitten by a
flea man.
And then continuously try and fly to the moon and fly into windows all the time. That would be my superpower.
I think I'd like to live in like a cartoon world. Something from my youth. A nice friendly one. I'll tell you what is a nice one. The world of Potsworth and Company. When you go to sleep at night and then rather than just kind of having your own little dreams, you meet up with all your little friends and you have a nice dreamy adventure together. So me and you and our friends, we're knackered. At the end of the day, we all go to bed and then we have a nice little, rather than just losing that little 8-hour window every single night to nothingness, we have a lovely little time together, in our dreams. And because it's dreams as well, you can do impossible things. We could have a PlayStation 8 or we could go to Japan just for a night or, meet Carol Vorderman. There's so many things we could do. So there we go.
I like a replacement one.
Although if no one knows Potsworth and Company, you'll need to look at it. I think it's Potsworth and Co. But the thing is good as well. Potsworth!
You just saying that has reminded me of it, and I've just remembered how awesome that cartoon was. That was such a good cartoon.
It was a group of little kids and their dog, and then the beginning of each episode was they went to sleep, and then they all went to sleep, and they all met in their dreams, and because it was dreams, they could go anywhere, and they had little adventures together, and they woke up at the end, and
there was no Freddy Krueger.
Really cool idea. So there you go. That's my fantasy landscape that I would choose to live in. Not Skyrim, not Fallout, not Superman, but Potsworth and Company. Woo!
And I'll go with Marvel because I want to be Mothman.
As a close second, Balamori.
Really? I hate that. I'd go mad. Strangle everyone.
Everyone's so happy, and everyone's
stop smiling at me.
Everyone's singing about what they're doing all the time. I mean, how cool would it be to walk down the road and just hear everyone singing about what they're doing? I'm shoveling my dog poo and putting it in the pooper bag, that kind of thing. And then the person next to you going, I'm stealing newspapers or something.
Everyone's terrible at their jobs. You've got the policeman who just is terrible at everything. You've got the painter and decorator, the American guy, the painter and decorator. He seems to be terrible at painting and decorating. No, I can cope with that.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay, fine. Okay. Balamori has been vetoed. Tiny Dancer here is suggesting Harry Potter. I wouldn't want the word Harry Potter though, because everyone's getting it. Because we'd be freaking muggles.
Yeah, we would. That's the thing.
Plus, effectively, Harry Potter is school.
It's cool school, though. Let's be honest.
It's not like PE though, in or games, or like a nice music lesson, or a bit of a touch of RE. This is like
you've read all the books. I don't know if we've got time for this really quickly. You've read all the books and watched the films as have I. He didn't ever learn English, maths, anything like that. It was all magic.
Yeah, so exactly. Every subject was just different bits of magic. So if he gets a job anywhere
that is magic related, and they go, "Could you send this email?" Nope, can't spell anything.
Yeah, his spelling would be freaking awful.
Atrocious. He just turned the spelling into a frog or something. I don't even know how you would turn a subject into a frog. But
no science, no drama,
nothing.
No business studies.
Well, I mean, he had, what's his name? I forgot it. Quidditch. He had Quidditch, but yeah, that was it. Anyway, we got to go.
Games. And there was no PSE. So wonder any of those wizards and witches know how to reproduce.
Naughty. We are out of time, I think.
We're out of time.
We're out of time.
Thank you for watching our show. If you have watched our show, no, that sentence isn't going anywhere.
Cool. Right. So, yes, to get more, you can watch us live on Twitch on Tuesdays, and the podcast goes up on all good podcasting providings on Wednesdays. There.
I will be back probably tomorrow doing something, but failing that, I will be back on Thursday with the Doctor Who Legacy show. And I'm doing various Skyrim-y things at weekends, and there's loads and loads of stuff up on the YouTube channel. I do normally have a silly song released every Monday, but I haven't done for the last couple of weeks because I haven't got around to recording things, but I will do. I was thinking about I could have a learn to play Addy's silly song video where I fascinatingly go through the chords of the songs. It sounds entertaining already.
I could buy another guitar before I sell it because I've got no money. Well, I don't need to do that now. I'm an adult and I've got a job.
We have wages. Right. Anyway, so that was tonight's SpudAdi. Thank you very much for coming along. I hope you've had fun. And if you have had fun, please recommend us to your friends, your lovers, and your children, because we are a family-friendly show.
We try to be our best.
Yeah. We very, very rarely say fuck. Right. Okay.
Oh, no!
We'll see you, boys and girls, next week. You have been fantastic. And you know what? So was we. Shall I play the SpudAdi theme tune, or shall I play a different theme tune?
You surprise me.
You can't hear it anyway.
I'll listen to it when I'm putting it on iTunes and stuff tomorrow.
I'm going to play the SpudAdi song because it is the SpudAdi show. The chords G, C, and D. Sing along at home. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
SpudAdi, you spud and I'm Addy. Just listen, you'll glisten, cause you'll be so happy. Our podcast is random talk on this and on that. But what did you expect from potatoes and fat? Yeah, what did you expect from potatoes and fat?